Welcome, everybody, to season 2 Horror Nights. We're here. You know, the one and only Versace Stoner alongside Victor, as always. And in this season, we got the one and only Chase. And joining us tonight, Misty. Welcome.
Welcome, everyone.
Got a full haunted house here. I love it.
Yeah, we do.
How's everybody's night going?
Not too bad. Snowed in at a hotel, but hey.
Well, as long as it's not like, what is it, the Overlook? Are you in the Overlook?
Maybe.
If you're snowed in at the Overlook, you might have trouble. Anywhere else, it's a 50-50 chance.
Even there are these creepy little girls running around.
Twins?
Yeah, and I keep hearing a freaking tricycle.
There's a hot granny in one of the rooms. Go look for her.
Oh, no, I know how that ends.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I know how that ends. No, I'm good.
Okay, well, at least you know your movies and you know. And tonight we're going to be talking about things that go, well, we always talk about things that go bump in the night, but these ones go, well, bump, rumble, roll. Some of them run, some of them crawl, some of them slither. I don't know. But tonight we're talking about zombies, the good, the bad, the ugly. You know, I talked to, recently I talked to, what was his name? John Russo. He was at that Scranton, Pennsylvania convention, and I was talking. I was like, "Can you really make a bad zombie movie?" He was like, "Oh yeah, you can." And I'm just like, "Okay."
You can fuck anything up.
Well, you would think that in zombies you would get corny or campy enough that it would just become, a good movie like Sharknado or something you could watch. It's not for horror factor, now it's for entertainment value because it's funny, it's silly. But it's funny. Me growing up, I wasn't a fan of zombie films. I did not like them. I watched Night of the Living Dead. I thought it was okay, but the zombies in that for me just weren't doing it. They were slow. They were eh. And then I did see a whole.
Dead. They're dead. What do you expect?
Well, I don't know. I've seen other dead things that can move a lot faster. And then, over the years, I saw a lot of bad zombie movies, I guess, as you would say, just bad movies in general. And then Walking Dead came out. I gave that a go. I did enjoy that for a lot of the series. I do think it went a little long, though. I kind of lost interest. But what they did with the zombies, it was a nice, fresh take. But then I got reintroduced to the older zombie movies, and then that could be thanks to Chase. Here he introduced me to a few, and going to the horror conventions and seeing movies I forgot about. One of them being Return of the Living Dead, which is a horror comedy cult classic. But the zombies to me in that are just great because they're not slow moving. They're fast, they're intelligent, they can talk, they can be they're asking for more bodies, they want more brains. And I feel that changed the game of zombies for me. So then I started going back and watching other films. I watched Fulci's Zombie itself, which I thought was a masterpiece. And even giving, Night of the Living Dead and all of that whole series another go, I've started to appreciate a little bit more. But I want to talk about that tonight, about, zombie movies. I think it's probably one of the most, if not overused, fields in horror film. Maybe paranormal's right up there now, but at one point it was all zombies.
Absolutely.
And never gonna be Dead Alive. It's the greatest zombie movie of all time. I'll say that right now.
See? And there's a movie you wouldn't even think of as a traditional zombie movie.
That's true. That is very true. I mean, going back to, some of the classics like Return of the Living Dead, I'm one of the, I think that one, I mean, I grew up on that one. And so that's probably one of my top 3 all-time favorite movies anyway. But that's...
I had to end up going back. I don't know if I can see it, but, we went to the convention and met all the stars. Like, I ended up falling in love with that film after watching it at a later age.
Yeah, I think I showed that one to you after the first time that we met
Linnea. When we met Linnea Quigley. at that first ever con in Fairhaven. I think we went home that night. We watched it with Mikey, and I just loved it all because it had that perfect for me, a perfect blend of humor and horror. Not every horror movie I have to watch, I got to get scared or make it scary. If it can be humor in it, it's okay to have a laugh over it all.
Must be
Oh,
nice.
absolutely. And a lot of the comedy in that didn't necessarily come from the script. It came from the way that the actors delivered their performances. I mean, you could have any two schmoes, running off that same exact dialogue, and it doesn't have the same impact as
No, a lot of I think like
that crew.
yeah, like I mean, just even the character Bert, for instance, like having the work and the older people that played the work people, they delivered it in a way that couldn't be replicated. That made it funnier. Oh, what do you got in the bag? Or what are you doing, weasels? It's just the way they all delivered that stuff, those lines. Matthau's, the way he delivered his lines. I thought that was, genius. He played such a good role in that he was able to come back in two, play a different role, but almost identical to the first role, but be a different character. And he was that good at what he could do. And people liked movies and didn't like nitpick so much that they didn't even question that. Nobody really questioned that.
Yeah. The thing with two, a lot of people don't like two. I do. But two, they were trying to too many people, they try to hold it up to the original, and you can't, because that one was just a classic. It introduced a lot of the modern mythos of the zombie, the eating the brains, things like that. But two went straight into the comedy of it all. They decided they were going to basically make a slapstick. That I thought it worked for me. I enjoyed it. I mean,
well,
when you see the Michael Jackson Thriller zombie, I die every time.
Well, it worked because one went either way. I thought one could be this scary horror, but it also was this kind of comedy. But it sparks a lot of questions too in modern times of like, you had all these Agent Orange and all these chemicals that the government might have used, and trioxin and things like that. And people still in their head have visions of the government holding such technology to bring dead back and use them as soldiers and so forth. And a lot of it stemmed from that. And they played into that perfectly in the time era. I think the timing, the piece, the punk era. And two, they tried, but it's funny, a lot of people you said don't like to, but then they do. Like when we were at that last big con up in Connecticut, everybody in Matthew's line, I kept hearing them say, "Hey, do you know when they're gonna do like a reunion for two? Like when can we do a two reunion? When can we get some of the two people out here? Like when can we see some of the two?" Like a lot of people wanted to see the two. Now I know next year I think there is a reunion of the two in some years. I don't know which.
Great Versace Stoner. Your
Yes.
audio is cutting in and out every other sentence.
Me?
That's what I was told. Misty you're breaking up with Misty.
Because I keep seeing Misty cutting in and out. You guys are all
only
here,
hear like every other sentence.
and I keep seeing Misty just screen cutting in and out.
Maybe she's possessed. I don't know.
But you're not. You two aren't cutting in and out, is what I'm saying.
Because God knows I would punish you more if I'm just there next to you the whole time.
I mean, it could be the internet here. I can try going upstairs. I never really come down here. Was he still
It could
asleep
be the weather
down there?
here too.
Probably.
It could also be the weather down there. It could be a lot of things.
Well, we got just rain. We don't got weather, but
I got 5 inches. Not literally, but anyways.
I was gonna say 5. That's not bad. It ain't the
That's
best.
about 3 more than I thought.
It's not really bragging, man.
Thank you. He said 3 more than you thought. That's great. Thank you. I take that as a compliment.
He's in Vermont tonight. It's cold. It takes 2 inches off you.
It does.
Everybody's just in Vermont. Everybody that goes, I feel like anybody that just goes to a certain part that's unknown, it just becomes Vermont. Doesn't even matter what state anymore. We're in Vermont.
That's the truth.
Quiet
I mean,
Place.
I guess I can try to do it again. I'm gonna try to move locations. Maybe because I'm only getting 2.5 bars down here. Maybe I'm gonna.
Dun, 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 dun. Are you on your new laptop?
Yeah, we're gonna move up.
I thought about getting a new laptop, and I was like, my Google Book's still good.
Well, it worked the other night just fine, but I was running upstairs.
Out of the basement. Dun, dun, dun.
Are there bodies? I love
See if that works or not. Has like a demonic feel though. I like it.
Well, I got my kid with all this art that he drew from last year from Squid Games, and most of it is the same dude getting stabbed in the knife with a fork.
Oh, your stuff, yeah. You're a real Mona Lisa. Nice dream catcher. Heather has a couple of those now.
Okay, well, she's still flickering in and out. I don't know. Maybe she is possessed. You said Misty's from Kentucky?
You're from Kentucky, right, Misty? I'll improvise.
I think she had just recently had a great convention down there. That Nightmare on Elm Street, I think, was in Kentucky.
Yeah,
was it not?
that was done in Lexington.
Yes.
And they had everybody.
I'll be honest, though, I just sent, you know how I met Heather over in Worcester? I actually mailed that out to Robert because he's now accepting things said like personally. And he'll sign it and send it back. So I got a picture of Heather Langenkamp signed, and then I send it out. Robert will sign the other half and send it back to me. Then I'll have those two together.
That's awesome.
I am hoping to see, but I heard even if he comes, it's like some of these lines for him is 10, 11 hours, 12-hour lines.
Well, because he takes his time and sits there and has a conversation with every single person.
Well, that was
he really goes above and beyond for the fans.
Well, that's how it was with like Bill Mosley and Edwin too, and all those guys I just recently saw. They were all just sitting there talking, taking pictures, telling stories, talking about the Texas Chainsaw movies and such. But like I said, I ran into John Russo and we just talked about zombies. I didn't even buy anything. We just talked because he was just. I don't know if people didn't realize like who he was, how cool he is. To me, he's almost like a living legend. He created half of the zombie world. Like,
absolutely.
He had scripts for sale of Return of the Living Dead there.
Pistachio, I do have a question from someone watching the show.
Yes.
Do you have bodies in the basement?
No, my wife was down there.
Once again, do you have bodies in the basement?
No bodies in the basement.
Okay, I just want to ask.
Yes.
I have bodies in the basement.
Can we hear you?
Now I can hear you. See, she heard bodies and she comes back.
Yes, your bodies. You might be a killer.
No. But, I mean, a good serial killer never felt.
I am curious if she has any. I'm going to use my little gauge here and see if, like, any, like, when I go to Misty, if it, like, lights up to ghostly or anything. No, she's clean from here. I don't know. But it does flicker like it's possessed. Only her screen. It's weird.
Dun, dun, dun.
It is weird.
I'll take it, though. Anything on Horror Nights. But no, he enjoyed talking about zombies. He said that Return of the Living Dead was a fun movie. Really fun. He enjoyed it. It was one of the ones he would say is a good zombie film. Now, you could go to Tubi and find horrendous zombie films, like I said.
Yes, you can.
They have. I saw one the other day was with like there was these World War II Nazi zombies in the snow.
Oh yeah, I have that one in my queue. I haven't watched it yet, but I've been seeing that poster for years.
I finally gave it a go, and I was just like, "What is this?" And some of these things are unwatchable.
Yeah.
But now you, Vic, on the other hand, like you said, you've spent a number of time. You talked about Return of the Living Dead 3. You actually enjoy that film, and you think of it more as like a love story.
I still say to this day, Return of the Living Dead 3 is a love story.
And that's where
Yeah.
I think they decided to take a turn with that whole. They got out of the slapstick for sure, and they wanted to make something serious.
Yeah, I'm not saying it wasn't a horror at all. I mean, I'm just saying it was mostly a love story to me.
Well, I mean, that's
I
what
mean,
Hellraiser
basically,
is
it was
too.
Romeo
Hellraiser
and
is a
Juliet
love
with
story.
zombies.
You know, they asked Ashley Lawrence.
I mean,
about
seriously,
Hellraiser.
seriously, if you had someone who you desperately loved get killed, and there was a way to bring him back, would you've done the same thing?
Probably, yeah.
That's a good question. Yeah, it's
Yeah. I mean,
well,
I
yeah,
love
because
Three.
it's the same morals, and it's the same thing. And I mean, we can take it out of the zombie world. Let's say it wasn't zombies, but it kind of is zombies. Look at Pet Cemetery. You have a tragedy, a kid dies. They grieving parents do anything. They bring it to an Indian burial ground. They do a ritual. They bring the kid back. Technically, it's a zombie.
Do you know in reality, if a truck hit a kid like that, there's no way the kid would be in one piece like that? It'd still be in one piece.
Most likely not.
I mean,
That
was like a
to be quite fair, it knocked him off his shoe. I'm pretty sure there wasn't much left.
I don't think it would be anything to relax.
No,
Yeah.
right?
No. It's just. I mean, back in those days, it was more psychological. It's like you saw, it's like, oh my god, you know.
But then again, he did put on the brakes. It wasn't like he just kept going. He did put on the brakes. You heard the screech. Maybe the impact just, I don't know. It's a movie. See, it's people like you that overanalyze these horror movies, and then it kills the whole vibe of horror. People are like, oh, that's not possible.
I'm sorry. It's just.
Or a fanatic overanalyzes it.
Well, how did Freddy Krueger survive the fire and wasn't turned to ash?
His spirit.
He didn't.
His spirit.
Maybe. But maybe sometimes, you know, things get bent in the world of horror. But yes, tragedy will make people do wild things, and why not bring somebody back?
You thought you would just bring someone back to see what happens. Like, I wonder if this happens.
Well, necromancy is always fun. I never said it wasn't. I mean, and that's what I'm saying. Like, there's bits and pieces of zombie type movies out there that aren't considered a zombie film. Like Reanimator. What is he making? Well, he's making zombies in a way.
Yeah, he is. And I just
some
rewatched that.
people will say. I mean, I literally. Some people will say The Passion of Christ is the greatest zombie ever movie ever made, because Jesus is the greatest zombie.
Yeah,
Anybody
The
that comes
Passion of the
back
Christ was
from the
boring.
dead is considered a zombie, and so at that level, I mean, you're right there.
Jesus was a good zombie, though. He mostly said, I'm going to fuck with everyone. I'm going to wake up one day, come back to life, and see what everyone's face.
He was the first zombie. But if you read about things in the Bible, they always talk about the day when the dead will rise, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that like be the Night of the Living Dead, Return of the Living Dead? Any of these freaking horror movies is literally written in the Bible.
The Bible goes,
I mean,
that's
that's
right tell you,
from-
he eats brains.
Day of the Dead, you know, when there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but and they reference it a little bit in Ghostbusters when all the spirits are out there. But if you think about it, they literally talk about half of these zombie movies in the Bible. But for me, I think zombie movies is just a fun genre, because either you get a really good zombie movie or you get a really bad zombie movie, or you get what I call the new age zombie movie, which isn't quite a horror movie. It's like, it's an action thriller, intense driven horror. It's like Bus from Busan, or Bus to Busan there, Train to Busan, or any of those films. The one that we watched, Vic, that you showed me, was like a foreign zombie film. I don't consider that scary, but they were like heart pounding action going on.
Yeah.
Gunfire, like, even Resident Evil.
Yeah, but I didn't know what type of sick fuck you were with before you showed me some of your movies. I show you that.
Well, I watch a little. I don't. It's not always about the gore. Some of the stuff is the psychological. Some of it's about the gore. It all depends. Sometimes less gore means a better movie. Like I watched a movie the other night called The Pasture. It was a great psychological movie. Unbelievable. I mean, it had me captivated for its 2 hours at night. And basically, this lady woke up and she didn't know where she was. She had no memory on who she was, but then she realizes she's with her sister, her brother-in-law, who's a doctor, her father's staying with her. She has some trauma. It looks like she tried to harm herself. And she just tries to work on her memory, and they try to help her, but you learn that it's not really what it all is, and you see the truth at the end. You're just kind of like mind blown.
Let me ask everyone in the room here for your opinion. Would you consider Terrifier 3 a zombie movie?
No.
Because his head got blown off. Didn't he blow his head off in the second one and came back to life?
I take him as more of the supernatural entity, like demonic type being, as opposed to a zombie.
With Terrifier, he's more of a host, because if you watch the second one, you see even in the very end of the first one, you actually see the little girl possess the girl that was injured, and she the one that survived, yes, she possesses her and takes her over. Prior to that, the little girl was the enemy. The little girl is the one that brought Art back from the dead.
So same category of like when Jason Lives, they brought him back.
Kind of, but I feel like the real protagonist is going to be
more as like a revenant than.
Well, but yeah, because whoever the real protagonist isn't going to even be Art. It has to be who's ever bringing these people back.
Right.
And it'll be interesting to see on 4. It's not like.
I hope they don't go too far into explaining his backstory, because that's when you ruin the whole franchise.
Well, I don't believe that his. With Michael. True. I don't believe Art's backstory is the same backstory that we're seeing in the movies. I think Art was just a sick, twisted clown that killed people like any other serial killer on the street. And then he killed himself to avoid police because, well, that's what a lot of people do. But somewhere in that, another entity saw this evil fucking thing and was like, we're bringing this shit back and taking it. And that little girl was the entity. She gave birth to it. She done all this stuff. Then she sees also the like I said, Nikki, he takes her over because then she becomes part of him. She's possessed by the third movie. She's fully possessed.
Right.
And now she's pulling the strings.
And then they go into the whole thing where they go into like hibernation for however long and then come back and.
But Art doesn't really know what's going on. Like, if you notice in the second one, Art just wakes up, kind of is just like, what the hell? And he goes and does laundry.
So kind of like a possession. So,
yeah.
Multiple entities, like Terrifier, multiple entities, because then the little girl comes into play. The about comes into play, like
all these other elements come into play.
The ability
and that's the thing.
Because the second movie, God, they all can run together. I can't remember.
Well, the second movie was, to me, a supernatural movie. The first movie
in the
First
first
movie.
movie.
First movie was a good slasher. Second movie was more of a supernatural slasher. It had definite elements of, you got the girl in the wings, you got the fire, the blade, you got some real cinematic battle scenes.
I think the second one got silly, but they recovered in the third.
It got silly to the point that it was like, what are we watching here? But then
All
I
I
don't
can say
think
is if in 4 they
go
take
with
him to
that yet.
space, I'm gonna lose my shit.
well, no, it's not going to go to space either. It will stay right on Earth, and
That you know of. You never
knowing
know.
fuzz on the lens, they're going to keep it on Earth. I mean, they're the producers. Director Damon Leone is going to keep it real. I do believe that it's going to be even more wildly crazy. Like, they were that last one. They were pretty. They went out of their realm there. They got the Hollywood to not back them with all the children death scenes in the beginning right off the bat. You have chainsaws going up people's asses.
Point that out.
Yes, I know. That's the one scene that gets Vic in a horror flick. I mean, we've watched crazy. We've watched
surprised me.
Siberian
It
film,
surprised me.
newborn
That's
porn
all.
in Siberian film. The craziest scenes.
He should be
Okay, and he doesn't flinch. Nothing going on, but the chainsaw up this guy's ass, and he's like, "Fuck my life."
I suffer trauma.
And I'm thinking to myself, shit, I have some sleepless nights because of the shit I see. I don't take it and just go to sleep. Sometimes I'm thinking about it, but not that it scares me. I'm just like, what the fuck did I
Yeah, you think
process
about it.
it?
It's a mind fuck. It's scary. I never lost sleep over it.
No, but
It's
it's processing of what did I just see on camera?
And
Like,
your
I just
response
watched the movie.
was like, "What? Wait, I didn't see the second part. Hold on a second." A couple hours later, you're right, man. That was fucked.
I know we're talking a lot about zombies, but a lot of the time, I end up now watching a lot of found footage movies, especially because Tubi has just a shitload of them, and they're all crapshoots. But I was watching this one leaving Washington or leaving DC, and it was just a total like, what the fuck at the end of the movie? It's just like, what am I watching? And what have I seen? And those movies that necessarily actually aren't bad. It's just they're kind of good. It makes you ponder and wonder, and sometimes you even rewatch the movie because you want to see what the hell did you just see.
Like the movie,
Right.
A lot of movies nowadays, I think, are left to interpretive endings for that reason. So there's a rewatch value. Because we're in a generation of people not really rewatching movies the way they used to. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I remember back in the day, waking up as a kid, throwing on my favorite VHS and watching the shit out of it, or whatever the movies were. Nowadays, kids will be like, "Nah, I seen that. Nah, I seen this." They won't rewatch it. They got maybe
And
a
that's
few
a
they
shame.
will, but yeah, we're living also in an abundance age of you can almost any movie you want is at your fingertip.
And
Back in the day, you had to go to
some movies that you don't
video.
want.
Yeah, but I mean, back in the day, you had to go to a video store. You had to go fucking search for it. Make sure that nobody else rented the movie too. Make sure they owned a copy of the film. Like there was so many things. You could get the film home and the film not work. I've had that. At one time, it was a wrestling film I wanted really bad. I rented it, got home all the way, put it in, so excited, and then I noticed somebody cut the tape on the inside. There was no tape,
Oh,
so there was no video to watch. Sometimes people recorded over these things. There was all sorts of mishaps that could happen at a video store, even to get it home to watch it. Or your VCR don't work, or it got tangled, or some other shit. It was a hassle to watch a film. It wasn't easy, as say, as just pressing on and pressing a button. But it made it more rewarding. Because when you watched that film back in the day, you actually sat down and watched that film. You weren't watching it on the phone and playing on this and checking out the score of that and watching the news through Facebook. You actually sat down and watched that film because A, you knew that you paid for it, but B, it wasn't just this thing that was of abundance. You had it for a couple of days or whatever, then you had to go return it. The same thing when something came on the TV or a movie came on, you sit there and watch it. DVRs hadn't come out yet.
right.
So, You know, if you wanted it, either that or you hooked your VCR up and you figured a way to record it and you recorded it. But other than that, you watched what you saw it. And it put everybody, I think, in the moment to watch these movies. You know, VHS is what I think really gave life to the horror genre because I don't think a lot of them did very well in theater, especially in the genres that we grew up in and the age and the eras that we grew up in. You know, 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s. I don't think they did, 90s they started to do okay in theaters because I think Scream helped that and other movies. But, prior to that, a lot of these horrors flunked at the theaters. And then VHS rentals and sales just boosted them through the top.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, because the rental market, the VHS rental market, it opened it up to a lot of studios to be able to get their things out there that may not necessarily be able to see a theatrical run. And a lot of those movies, while they didn't make a whole lot of movie money at the time, they ended up becoming cult classics. And they've fortunately garnered a pretty heavy following in the years since it was released.
And now you got, companies that will pick up some of these obscure titles that do have these followings and they'll put out these beautiful, limited edition 4K restorations or other versions that keep the, movie alive. Like look at the movie Ice Cream Man. It wasn't a big blockbuster hit, but through VHS and through everything else, it was very big. Then like Severin Films picked it up or Vinegar Syndrome picked it up. One of them, I don't know. I think Vinegar Syndrome picked it up and they put it to Blu-ray. And it got a bunch of people to rewatch that. And Clint Howard, I just met him recently, and he was still talking about it. That people love this movie to the point that they're actually going to be doing another Ice Cream movie,
Really?
which is funny because he been having this project for years. I guess he wanted to do another movie, but he said he didn't want to do a prequel. He didn't want to do a sequel. The guy was dead. He wanted to do something fresh. So him and I guess the original director finally figured it out. I guess it's been greenlight. I guess it's in pre-production. By January, it should be in production. And I guess basically the way he explains it is it's going to be a brand new guy, and you're going to watch him go from a normal ice cream man, happy-go-lucky, to a complete psycho, crazy killer ice cream man, and watch the descent into madness.
Okay.
But also, I saw
sounds
that another
interesting.
company is actually doing a reboot of the Ice Cream Man too, as another horror. And it's totally different. So I don't know,
Interesting.
but I do know that Clint Howard has been wanting to do that project for quite a minute. Shit, he probably could, get his brother to direct it if he wanted to.
Ice Cream Man, directed by Ron Howard. I would watch the shit out of that.
I mean, he told him he was just talking so highly of his brother and just how he got him into like Star Wars and stuff, and just him being invited to Star Wars was such a big thing because it's such a small circle of people that can direct a Star Wars film. That list is like minute. There's only like a handful of people that they will allow touch that actual franchise. And the fact that they called him, they were just like in shock and awe.
And I'm might be in the minority, but I didn't hate that movie.
Oh,
I thought Solo was actually a solid movie. Wasn't anything great, but it was solid. It was entertaining, and that's really all you want with a Star Wars movie.
with the Star Wars movie of today, all you want is something entertaining and not to kill the previous legacies. That's all you can hope for. Because some of them have been okay, some of them have been good. I don't really, care for the new trilogy that much, but I thought the standalone films were solid too. The one that they made about the prequel that happened right before A New Hope, where she's stealing the Death Star plans, I thought that was an excellently done movie. Solo was a really good movie. There's been a few others. Mandalorian, even as a show, was good.
And they're getting a movie.
and they'll get a movie. But like I said, to have somebody of that nature producing these films, and then you got your brother who's been also, I mean, not for nothing, but he's been in a lot of stuff. He's been in, I think he said, over 250 something odd movies and shows between everything from Star Trek to horror. I mean, he was in Terrifier, I think, too.
I think he was, yeah.
He was in Terrifier 2. He was in he played, like I said, he's still in the horror scene. But then he said, he was talking because I watched the question and answers, of course, and he was talking a whole bunch about his Star Trek, just experiences going on the Next Generation, meeting William Shatner and all of them, going on Deep Space Nine, meeting all of them, being in Star Trek the movies, just being in different generations of Star Trek. He was just kind of talking about it, and the guy was like, well, this is a horror convention, let's bring it back to talking about the horror. But I enjoy, because I mean, I do enjoy Star Trek, so I enjoy listening to him talk about that too. But as far as what would I mean, I'll bring it back to zombies. We kind of went off a little topic, but what would you say today's modern, masterpiece of a zombie film is? Before you had Night of the Living Dead, and you had Returns, and even Walking Dead was, I think, a good show that portrayed what a zombie outbreak would be. But as far as a cinematic movie, what would you say today's movie is?
That's a tough one. I mean, you have like your 28 Days Later, things like that. I think that you could even argue for like Shaun of the Dead, which kind of mixed a lot of different aspects of the zombie lore together to make that film. But for me, it's, I mean, for me, it's, it's not really modern, but for me, it's still Romero's Day of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead. Those are both excellent movies. I prefer Dawn myself, but
so these classics for you are still holding up.
Yeah, I mean, even Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead remake was better than I had expected it to be, and I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. It had a great cast. It had a good story. It wasn't a step-by-step remake. They did some different things with it. I thought that they did a really good job with that, and those damn running zombies got me.
Well, I mean, I think running zombies will get anybody. I mean, it's pretty. It's kind of creepy.
That's Miss Misty. What's your favorite zombie movie?
My favorite zombie movie? Actually, none of them, because these do not really manifest what it would be in reality. Actually be like would probably be no, it would not be Shaun of the Dead. Thank you, but no.
That's a good one.
Resident Evil. And I say that just the science to it, if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
No, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I don't consider these movies to be scary. I watch them for the scare factor. Possession movies would be more scary, or paranormal, or like I said, found footage.
Come on, Versace. You don't think a zombie outbreak is possible?
No, we're already living in a zombie outbreak. You ever been anywhere? You ever
COVID? COVID era. You don't think a zombie era?
You ever been to the? Oh, you don't live in Massachusetts. You never been to the Methadone Mile. It's a fucking whole nation of zombies.
Have you ever been
live
to
in a
Walmart
zombie
on a Sunday?
apocalypse already?
Dude, I got people fucking dogs in Brattleboro, so I don't know what's going on.
That's a horror story in itself. Welcome to watching, Barbara. Hope you had a good holiday. We are now on Tuesday nights, by the way, if you missed the announcement. No more Thursday nights. Tuesday nights, horror nights.
It's your fan.
Yes, we got fans on the show. We do actually got
Number
people
one
that watch
fan.
the show. We're in season 2. They started watching us in season 1. It's great. They followed us along. But was it like Cujo? Now I'm curious, Vic. Was it like Cujo the dog? Like, what was going on?
I just read this in the Brattleboro.
It was a Chihuahua.
I don't know. I hope it was a Chihuahua. I hope it was a big dog. People have big dogs around this area. That's all.
We joked about horses, but we never joked about dogs. That's not even funny.
We joke about horses because we know because he's like, this is the law. Ha 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 ha. That's someone on a Brattleboro Facebook group page saying, I just spy on my kids' boy.
Well, now I want to know about Misty. Misty, in Kentucky, do they have laws against horses and people? Interloping.
As long as I don't know about it.
It's not posted anywhere. Not to, right?
I guess not. Teach their own.
Well, I mean, we did our research. Basically, it's legal in all 50 states as long as it's not public.
It's not a public.
I've been good. I've been doing my research on horses and
Hey, you wonder why Johnny Pierce will come back on the show? Hey,
Well.
Johnny, do you know you can fuck horses and that's just what it...
well, if you can't handle that and you're wrestling another man in tights, I don't know what the world's coming to.
I don't know either.
Look, both bald guys got their faces covered. Okay, that's all I know. Two guys were Spanish. I'd call you the Mendez twins. Like I said, I've been good. I've been doing researches on horses. ChatGPT is a great friend. It'll tell you
It's
anything.
a great friend, isn't it? Except when he
It
wants to use bad words or call someone out. He goes, "Can I do that? Fuck you! Go to my side
Can't
check.
do that. They'll say it nicely. They'll say,
Go to my side check."
yes, Chase and Victor are like twins. It's what happens when you live in remote areas of the country.
What's my-
Just turns you into baldness and remoteness.
I have cancer. Don't make fun of me.
I wouldn't be surprised if you start that GoFundMe.
Oh yeah, I mean the
What
two
is it?
remove. I
Then
mean
you're
the
gonna
two
start-
removes
then what are you
too.
gonna do? Start a wrestling promotion? How many people are you gonna follow along with there?
It's like,
Come
I
on.
walked into that one.
You've learned from the best. I know. You've had half of them on the show.
Like, they're making money this way. Fuck, I want to do the same thing.
It might work for you, right? No, it doesn't. Believe me. I put out my memo once and they called me a beggar. I'm like, you guys do it every show.
He's like, I still have fuck every shot.
But see, you got Misty. She looks vibrant. She's from Kentucky. Probably a nice rural area. Maybe she's out in the middle of nowhere, too. I don't know.
Missy's wondering what the hell she got herself into.
I'm in the middle of the sticks where hills have eyes. It's the thing.
Oh, we're going to come visit you then.
Around my area. Okay, go.
We can visit you if we bring these two. I'll be like, they'll be looking to see if you got anybody single out there, like a conjoined twin.
What?
You said you got the hills have eyes, people. Some of them were conjoined.
The sexual
Yeah, I can
logistics.
find you.
All right. This is some kind of south already.
It's horror nights.
This went south real quick.
I mean, 99% of the horror movies that are out there have a little scene of nudity because it breaks up the tenseness of the horror. That's why we add.
Well,
some
that was
sort
one
of-
reason.
That's the only. Well, that's the reason why I always think. I know the other reason, but we can't get into that. But that is why I also will interject sometimes sexuality into the show, because it goes hand in hand with horror. Some of it was to tell a story, like don't go screwing around in the woods, or underage sex, premarital sex, bunch of little freaking urban legends to get you
There's
scared.
literally 2 movies, Don't Fuck in the Woods 1 and 2.
Yes, but then there's all horny teenagers must die, and that was just a masterpiece of just kill everybody that's fucking in the woods, anyways.
Yeah. Then you
But
had
then there's
Cherry,
other movies
then
that are
you had
really
Cherry
important,
Falls,
like-
which was the inverse of that.
Like,
They were
I'll
going
say it
after the
again,
virgins.
and I know you'll agree that Megan is Missing is a very important movie to watch, because it teaches a very strong lesson of what can happen in this world in a very blunt and brutal way, without cutting it with humor or anything else.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I made my niece watch that. It's like, hey, this is why you don't do this stuff online.
Exactly. We might be all sick and crazy, but we're nothing compared to the evil that exists out there in the internet that's trying to really do harm.
I mean, you got ghosts, you got goblins, zombies, vampires, but the real scary monsters are other people.
Unfortunately, most of them are in Rhode Island. That's why I'll never do a haunting in Rhode Island, because you add both of them together. You poltergeist and a predator, and you got some kind of child rapist poltergeist. It's too much for me. I'm out. But
that make a good horror movie.
It would make a good horror movie. Like the guy gets the chair, kind of like Shocker.
Like Shocker, yeah.
Shocker was.
We will be here.
Underrated.
Thank you for checking us out. It was an underrated film.
Yeah, it was. Shocker was easily my top 10.
And I'm glad nobody. I'm glad nobody took the liberty and tried to like reboot it or redo it, because you're not going to get the same gist with the actors that they used.
No, that was Wes Craven's attempt to make a new Freddy Krueger. Horace Pinker, I thought, was a fantastic villain. He could have easily carried an entire franchise. Unfortunately, they never got around to doing that. The movie didn't really do all that well. I'm hoping for a new release of it, a 4K release, or even a new digital.
They have
release.
Shelf Factory put out. I don't know if it's 4K. It might only be 2K. But they did put out a special edition of it not too long ago.
Oh, I missed that one.
It's still up there though.
Okay,
I don't think it's OOP yet. But no, I mean, I think that you're right. I think that it could have held. They could have done more with it. But then at the same point, it's like, it's hard to replace Freddy when Freddy's still alive. And people still want Freddy. People still want Freddy today. And they don't want the new age Freddy. They want freaking the Freddy in the 80s. They want, Robert Englund to do it. And he can. He doesn't want to. The makeup. He said it takes 6 hours to do the makeup every time. It's like, it's too much.
Oh, absolutely.
So the only other way they could do it would be to CGI, and that would be shitty. I mean, that's why, to go back to Zombies, they were supposed to make the movie Trash. Trash was supposed to finally get an independent film. And she said her agent, which I heard her agent, me and Vic heard her agent, is really tough to work with, because the people that made Redhead want to know Lene, the lady, and Lene wants to work with them on a future film, and she wants to work with them, and they're friends and all. And Lene gave this lady like a dress she wore in like one of the films. I don't know, something. The whole long story we had on our interview, but getting the person that just keeps saying no was like, nah. And any which way, they read the script and read what they wanted out of the movie Trash and told Lene, nah, we're pulling out because it has too much CGI. You're an 80s scream queen. We don't need to mix you up with all this new age bullshit, basically, is what she said to me. And she said, yeah, I kind of agree with it. I don't, I'm used to the, the blood, the guts, the old school way of doing things. I don't want to just sit in a green screen room the whole time or be just cast it as something to move. They want the physical effects, and I think a lot of '80s actors feel that way in general
Mm-hmm.
because they went through the times of having to put on the physical effects, sit in the woods for hours in fake blood, bugs crawling on them, doing all this crazy shit you read about or see and hear about behind the scenes, and put in that work. So to them, it's nothing. They'd rather do that. To them, that's making the film than just letting the computer do it.
Yeah, and I mean, like, to go to that, like, I saw an interview with her where she was talking about the scene in the graveyard when the zombies came up and they put her into the puddle, and the extras that were playing the zombies in that, apparently they got a little too carried away and damn near drowned her.
I'm sure everybody got a little carried away in that movie. I mean, it's a wild movie if you think about it. I mean, because in the midst of it all, you have this punk young woman just stripping naked and getting naked and dancing in the middle of it all.
As one tends to do.
Well, yeah, it's like, nobody really realized, but she's naked for most of that film until she's dead.
And then she's naked after she's dead.
Oh, yes. But I mean, she's a classic actress. I mean, you can't love '80s or '90s horror really without her, because she did some good '90s flicks too. I think.
Yeah, she did.
Not as much as the '80s, but she did do a few into the '90s, and she still does. I think some even like just cameos here and there.
Yeah, like she did a cameo in the Night of the Demons remake.
Yeah. But you can't beat those original, Night of the Demons and such. I mean, what she did for those films is, what she did for that first one, it was incredible. And that's another, I would say, cult classic film, similar to Return of the Living Dead, that kind of puts a fun spin on possession films.
Exactly.
So if you think about it, she's been a part of a lot of these like cult classics that have just changed the genres of the way things are made. But more so for the zombies, because you're right, but prior to that, the zombies were slow moving. They were whatever. They didn't really talk. I don't think they talked in Night of the Living Dead. They just moaned and groaned and such. And, you got them on the phone, send more paramedics. You have these, they have some kind of a motive. They have, a little bit of a strategy. And they just, they're just savagery. They're just going. And they can run. They can move fast. Which brings a whole nother, I think, scare factor to it when you got a zombie that can just chase you and hunt you down rather than one that, you know that you can outrun.
Right. I mean, like in Night of the Living Dead, at one point they were basically just sitting there talking, making a plan. And they said, we can just walk by these guys.
I mean, even in the beginning scene, had the brother not hit his head on the rock, they would have both escaped just fine. He wasn't. They waited for that guy to come and attack him. Like they could have just. There was, a lot of things that could, like you said, you could walk around these things. Some of them I don't even think were aware that you were there.
Right.
As the movies progressed, day and dawn, I think they were a little bit more aware, but they were still slow moving. But I mean, by the mall, when they were overtaking the mall, you could see that one was a little bit they were more deadlier, I think. And then what's the one with the little girl? That's Day. I've seen the remake recently. And I actually enjoyed, I think, the remake of that. If that's the one with the little girl, that might be Dawn of the Dead. I don't know.
The little girl, that was in Night.
No, there's like the
The
movie starts off with the little girl and she
oh
kills her
yes,
parents.
that was the yeah, that was the I was thinking of the little girl in the farmhouse in Night of the Living
No,
Dead. No,
no,
that was
no.
yeah, that was the Snyder remake
Yeah.
of Dawn.
Yeah, and I did actually buy that and watched it. Because the rights on these ones are actually kind of wonky. Trying to get U.S. versions of them, it's kind of hard to find the original Dawn of the Dead in a U.S. version like Blu-ray.
It is.
You need a Region B or you need a Region B player. Finding them streaming is almost impossible. So I ended up like finally finagling anything, but I ended up buying that one by accident because I thought I was buying the original, and I bought it and I watched it. I'm like, I started it off and I'm like, wow, this is like really good quality for being an 80s film.
Oh yeah. And
But
like
it wasn't. It was the remake.
oh, gotcha.
And then I'm like, this ain't bad. Okay. And then I realized it was the remake because I'm like, there's no way that, this is the original when it had all this new age technology and shit going in there. And the houses are fucking, and everything, the color gradings of today. And I'm just like, fuck, okay. And then I realized that there's a remake and I looked it up and so I'm watching. I'm like, but I enjoyed it. But I think again, those zombies were scarier than the original Night of the Living Dead zombies.
Yeah, and as far as Night of the Living Dead goes, I actually am one of the few people I think that prefers the 1990 remake.
Oh, the one with Bill Mosley.
Yeah, and Tony Todd.
I like. I'll put it this way: if we could keep the original beginning, I think the original beginning of the movie was better. Just
Yeah,
because of the way they were like Barbara and all of that, they're coming for you. Right up to when the brother dies and she runs. Then I think the new movie just as much better is a better made film. But it also is newer. You got to remember the time period. Things like that were considered really scary. Like people, I mean, people were fucking scared shitless of like those H.G. Wells movies and stuff.
they thought they
Uh,
were real.
they thought
The
they
War of
were
the
real,
Worlds and
exactly. So who knows, like what people thought of it during the time? They were scared of this shit. Exorcist is a lot of these people's number one scariest film. If you ask them, they'll say Exorcist, hands down. And that's like one of the films that I don't find to be scary. I think there's more scarier possession films out there than Exorcist. Even watching all the subliminals, even watching everything, I still think the scarier um possession films out there. But yeah, it's funny. A lot of the '80s and '90s stars will say Exorcist. And that's one of their first questions they get all asked at these conventions is, "What's your favorite film?" Oh, look at Missy. She's got her spooky blanket out. That's great. You need a spooky blanket, Vic.
Why don't you use spooky blanket?
Why not? Stay warm. It's cold.
I'm a Vermonter. I'm a cold warrior.
I guess. You say that now. Give it another 10 years. You'll want a fucking warm blanket.
I'm just being tough on the air. Wait till we get off the air. I'll be like, fuck, it's cold.
Yeah, I know. You're sitting there with your fucking
Oh my
t-shirt and
God.
shit. Well, you could be like my kid. My kid refuses to wear jackets and stuff during this time of year. He's just like, nah, it's not that like that.
Yeah, my kids say way.
But, I mean, yeah, it's hard to find a good, I think, modern day zombie. I mean, those ones are nice. And I think as far as somebody writing a new one, it's very hard to get into it because you're going to compete with, people now have the idea of Walking Dead zombies. Or they have their original ideas of zombies. And, Walking Dead, it became more about, I think, the characters that were fighting the zombies than the zombies themselves. But it showed more, I think, of the turning process of people turning into zombies and becoming
right.
infected. I'm not a big fan of the 28 days. I don't know. I find it's too medical almost. same thing with Resident Evil. I feel like the movie didn't do the game justice. The game was in one way, and the movie went a totally different way, and they could have
Well,
scaled it back.
the sad thing about that is George Romero was actually attached to direct Resident Evil. He had a script, he had everything all set and ready to go, and they decided to go the way they went.
Why? You got to ask why wouldn't you go with George?
I don't know, because up until the day he died, I was seeing, he was talking about how that was one that he regretted not getting to do.
Well, I mean, it had success, but I think it's by name only. I don't think the movies are that good.
No, but now they're doing another reboot, I hear. So
we'll reboot it like the game. Make it about the cop and going into a mansion. Make it about that.
I haven't heard too much about it, but I think that's actually what they're doing.
I would be happy to see something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I know some people don't like it, but I think like what Silent Hill was done really well compared to the game.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. For me, a lot of the horror now is in the gaming world. Some of the games that they make are scarier than some of the movies that are out there. And we're starting to get a lot of the movies back into games. You're getting Halloween coming. You're getting the Hellraiser game, which is supposed to be insane. And what's his name is both Doug Bradley is reprising the role for Pinhead in that game.
That's amazing.
And Clive Barker is doing all the directing and shit for that game. So the game is being basically, a Clive Barker Pinhead Hellraiser game. That's insanity. What I saw some of the trailer the other day of it is the gameplay is insane. They're ripping people apart, gore, everything. It's all there that you would expect in a Hellraiser movie. They're trying, I think, do another Friday the 13th game.
Yes, I did hear some stuff about that. One rumor that I heard, it was going to focus more on a younger Jason, which I don't even think I'm really interested in. So I hope that's not the case, and I hope that they.
I don't see that happening because I don't see where the interest would lie in that. Nobody really cares about that. They want hockey. They don't even want sack Jason. They want freaking hockey mask Jason. That's it. I mean, the others are cool as like unlocking or as a skin, but nobody wants it to be based on that.
Right.
But zombies in games, look at Call of Duty. Every season they come out with new zombie killings and you use the zombie missions. Like zombies are a big part of gaming too.
Yeah, I think Return of the Living Dead's getting a game.
They are, yeah.
They are, yeah. Assault on Unita, I think.
Okay. That's actually will be interesting. They are making the reboot of that movie, and that's what I was going to ask you. I mean, what are you thinking about that? Them rebooting that movie?
Well, it's not really a reboot. It's a continuation. It's a separate outbreak in a different part of the country, like 18 months later. It takes place around Christmas time. The movie keeps being delayed, though. It was supposed to release this month. But they haven't even finished filming it yet. In fact, they just announced some of the cast. Devon Sawa is going to be in it apparently, which I think is kind of interesting. He's been.
Well, wasn't there kind of some beef between some people in that?
Yeah, well, they've got the guy that is putting that one out. He is in a lawsuit with the Originals company that Beverly Randolph runs. They've got a lawsuit coming up on that, so I think that may have something to do with why that film is being delayed. They may be waiting to release that pending the lawsuit, and it may never come out. Which, I mean, I think it's kind of a cool idea. They got the new Tarman set a Christmas setting, which I think is kind of cool.
It is,
but
it's kind of almost...
it's also the same guy that did 4 and 5 though, and those are horrible. I don't even recognize 4 or 5 as being part of the franchise. Most people don't even know that they exist.
No, it's true. I mean, I've never seen 4 and 5, and I don't really believe in them.
Yeah.
But what is it, like Necropolis and something else?
Yeah, and yeah,
Dance of the Dead?
No, that's a different one. I think it's Rave to the Grave.
Rave to the Grave. And you know what? I had high hopes, actually, for Rave to the Grave, because I thought they were going to do, like, take the original and take the 2000 raving scene of ecstasy fucking using teens and put those two together instead of the punk era. But
Right.
no, it was just fucking stupid. It was junk.
Actually, Dance of the Dead was a surprise. I actually enjoyed that one a bit. I didn't expect to, but it was a fun movie. It wasn't.
Well, I'll tell you. I mean, I'll be honest. There's some horror movies or some zombie movies out there that are part of like anthology horrors, or like, you ever see those movies where like a bunch of directors will get together and put out different films, and like Masters of Horror, they have a beautiful zombie film in that. And there's other ones too that just, like you'll have Romero write a short story or do a short story for one of these anthologies. There'll just be this masterpiece short zombie film. It's like, damn. I think some people just get turned off by the word or the genre because of how silly it can get or will get or has gotten.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
It doesn't get the same respect as a slasher film or even a possession film. But then there's people that are just dedicated zombie fans too, that if it ain't zombie, it's not horror.
Right. I mean, for every, unfortunately, for every Return of the Living Dead, you have a House of the Dead 2.
And that's another one that came from a game that should have been done a little bit differently. Yeah. And not all games, even if they're successful, need to be turned into a movie.
Right. I mean, and to be honest, if you want to know if your zombie movie is going to suck, look at the name of the director. If it says Uwe Boll, you know it's going to suck.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's the quick way. It's like scratching the numbers on the scratch ticket and seeing if you got the win before anything. But, I mean, I guess there can be bad zombie movies. I always said there's no really bad horror, it's just different horror, but I guess zombie movies is the exception. There is bad zombie movies.
Absolutely. And then I actually just saw one relatively recently, which was a very interesting take on it. It was called Contracted. And it's this
the STG young lady, zombie movie, right?
She has a
one night stand.
Yeah, she has a one night stand, and then as soon as the next day her health starts deteriorating, and by the end of the movie she's a full rage zombie.
Yes, I actually seen that movie and I actually enjoyed it. And I like that take on it.
And there is a second one.
Yeah, it wasn't as good as the first, but it reminded me of another short kind of film that I saw. It was in a series. I'm trying to remember the series name. They actually used Serge Tankian's song for the beginning of it, but It'll come to me. It's a series on Tubi. It was picked up by them, but it was on other networks prior. It has different stories, and one of them is a zombie flick, but it takes place over New Year's. And then, the morning starts with the girl waking up and whatever, but it goes through the night of what happens and how the outbreak took place. And similar to that with, I think it had something to do with like liquor or something. But, just something kind of mundane started the outbreak. And
Yeah.
everything just spends. And I guess that's the different, I guess that's where the difference in zombie movies lie. Like, where's the outbreak coming? Has it been viral? With COVID and COVID-19 and all of that, I think the movie or the name of zombie has become almost more like, let's make it virusy. Let's make it something contagious and spreadable.
There's a whole subgenre of zombie movies that are COVID zombies. I can't think of any off the top of my head. But Tubi being the Wild West of movies as it is, I've seen several of those on there.
No, I know, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like in recent years, trying to make it more realistic. In Return of the Living Dead, it was the trioxin, and it crazily got into the air through the smokestacks. They were burning the bodies, and it got back down to them on the rain. Yeah. It was almost a perfect storm of events that happened. If it didn't happen that way, then
literally
it wouldn't have happened. I don't honestly remember what did they ever say what started the Night of the Living Dead?
No, and I think I personally prefer it that way.
What, Night of the Living Dead?
Knowing,
yeah,
it was a comet. The radiation from a comet that.
Okay.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, then again, if you go by Return of the Living Dead, it was the trioxin that inspired that caused the '69 outbreak, and then they changed it for the movie.
Well, I mean, that's that's basically what it was. Is kind of a government cover up in a lot of ways, which I think gives people this thing. The government had this thing; they let it break free. It broken free.
And you don't think it can happen in real life?
Well, maybe it can. I mean, they had an epidemic. They nuked the area.
The area was cleansed. We must cleanse the area.
Yeah, there's Mama Stella's.
Yeah. Actually,
No, we gotta find out.
Okay, do it.
I recently watched the work print of Return of the Living Dead, and it had the alternate ending, where they were talking, where they showed the nuclear blast, and then they did like a little rundown of it.
No.
And
You didn't even.
That's basically exactly what it was.
Because I'm gonna have to Venmo it over to my bank account.
You need 30.
Unless, can you pay for it through Venmo with this or no?
Versace.
What was the question? Sorry, my wife was talking food.
Still with us, buddy? You still with us? He's like, huh?
Yeah, no, we were just talking about the work print ending for.
Oh yeah, I've recently actually seen the work print too, and it's funny to talk about it. Hey, what do you want? I'm just gonna send you back the money. I gotta go. Like, no, and that work print is interesting because any work print is interesting. It shows the film in its most rawest state, and it did have the alternate ending, and I don't know. I thought the ending was fitting. This, it being the way it was. But then you gotta wonder: does that nuclear weapon cause even more zombie outbreaks?
Well, I kind of took it that it did, because it kind of, they had the nuclear blast, and then it ends up going into another rainstorm, and then it shows it's a repeat of an earlier scene, but it's the exact same thing: the water going down into the graveyards, and then you see the zombies popping up. So yeah, that's kind of how I took that.
So again, you know, a man-made accident cover up causing another man accident. How did 2 end? I don't think I've seen the end of 2.
2, that was where they had to go through the bridge.
Oh, okay.
And that had some interesting take. I kind of liked how one of the main villains was a kid.
Yeah.
One of the bullies was the main antagonist, the zombie, which I thought was an interesting choice. I kind of enjoyed that.
Well, I mean, that was kind of. Well, wasn't that kind of how it was in 1? I mean, 2 main zombies with 2 teens, really.
Right. But what 1 did not have that 2 had was the Michael Jackson Thriller zombie. And that is hilarious. Every single time. I don't care how many times I see it, I can't stop laughing whenever he pops up.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it needed to be there for that, but I mean, yeah, remember they cultural references has been made in horror movies, and then continue to be made in horror movies. I mean, and depending on the director, they'll bring stuff back years and years later. Like look at Scream. They had, you know, the Freddy the freaking janitor there with the green and red sweater. It's
Right.
like, you know, they throw these throwbacks all the time in horror films, especially with, like I said, within their own director, they almost write their own universe, and then they bring all these things to light. It's pretty cool to see though, because if you're watching closely, you end up picking up all these little Easter eggs along the way. Especially the old nods to all their stuff, character names, things like that. Like even like I was watching Scream, you know, great movie in my opinion. Fuzz and the Len, you know, produced, directed it, you know, Michael Levy there, and you know, they have the character Oswald. But it's a throwback to Ozzy from Leprechaun, played by it's the same character, same actor.
Right, yes.
And you know, he did that because he actually rebooted that movie Leprechaun. He did a remake of the Leprechaun, not a remake, but did a new Leprechaun.
Was it the beginning?
Yeah, but it casted him into it. It brought back Ozzy, and he used the real actor and everybody. They used Mark in there, so
that's awesome.
So then, you know, from that point, I think they built a relationship with Mark. It was, hey, you want to be in this Scream movie? And they cast him as this character, Oswald. He dies in the beginning, but it was a throwback to Ozzy of that. And, you know, there's all these little interconnections in the horror world that is just like, wow, this is really interesting if you really kind of connect and watch the pieces. You know. But, I mean, like I said, and we've been to a few cons. We've seen, you know, the love of the zombies. There was a lot of people with Return of the Dead love. I mean, that might be the most loved movie. I mean, you've seen. I mean, look at that replica they made of that trash zombie, and like had people signing it, and just the overall. I don't know. The fans of that film are just wonderful. I feel.
Yeah, I mean, that movie was, you talk about the perfect storm. It had the perfect cast. It had the perfect younger cast. It had the perfect older cast. Everybody just meshed so well together.
Okay, but let me ask you a question. Why the song on the soundtrack about the young girl getting like raped and killed? Was it just to be was it just to be edgy? Like I know you've done like some research on the film. Was it just to be edgy? Does anybody talk about that?
I haven't really seen any mention of why. Are you talking about which song were you talking about? Nasty Girl?
I think so. It's the punk song, girl. It's one of the punk songs.
Yeah. The one that she dances to on the tombstone?
It might be. I don't know. I know when you read the lyrics, it's basically about a little girl that gets raped, kidnapped, killed, and shit. Pretty gruesome story.
I mean, I could be wrong, but I think they were just going for a punk soundtrack for that, and That
They
one
probably went with the song that nobody liked and nobody wanted to care for, so they said, "Let's take this cheap piece of shit and use it, and hope nobody ever looks at the lyrics."
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that I'm not sure. I haven't really looked into that particular song all that much.
But then they lost rights to some of the music, didn't they?
Yeah, and that's why a lot of like the Blu-ray release has a completely different soundtrack
Then what?
than the original.
Yeah.
The 4K restored it mostly. I think they still lost the rights to one of the original songs. But I believe.
So if you want to watch it in its original format, you have to watch the VHS version.
Right. But or the DVD I believe also had the original soundtrack. In the Japanese Laserdisc has the original soundtrack.
Yeah.
I believe. I think the new 4K release, not the Arrow, but the other one that came out, the one
There's
that you
two.
have.
I mean, I got both of them. I got the
Yeah.
Shout Factory and the Arrow.
Yeah, the Shout Factory. I believe if you go to the Audio 2 selection, I believe that's actually the original. Mostly the original soundtrack, minus the one song they don't have the rights to.
You would think by now they could buy the rights to the song, though.
You would think so.
You okay with it, Vic?
It's a horror song. What do you expect?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, we
You
lost
should-
Misty. We didn't mention that Misty just disappeared after flickering all night long.
Yeah, the power got to her. I
Or
know
she was the power. Maybe she was just like electricity.
I told her to come back on next week.
That's fine. I mean, it is what it is. We have technical issues all the time here. It wouldn't be a horror show without technical
That's
issues.
not the first time that snowstorm screwed up our night.
Yeah, but you said she's in Kentucky, right?
Kentucky.
They got snow too?
Yeah, they got hit too. There's storms. There was storms all like throughout the day, popping up left and right. Midwest got a storm. I mean, everywhere fucking got a storm.
Where snows at?
We didn't end up getting any snow.
It's wintertime. What can I say?
Gonna throw everything off. I have all these mystery boxes coming.
I'll be back in 1 second.
Yeah, no worries. You know, the weather always plays around with the mail, but this time of year is hard anyways with the I don't even want to talk about mail. I'm still waiting for packages from 2-3 weeks ago from people. You know, for nothing. I mean, I've done, sold some stuff on eBay in my past, and I could see 1 or 2 days time period. But when it gets to 2 or 3 weeks of shipping something, I get a little nervous here. To be honest, doesn't matter who the person is. Doesn't matter who and I'm not even going to mention the name of what I bought, but I'm just saying in general. I mean, even if I bought something from you and you're like, yeah, I'm going to mail it, and then like 3 weeks later you haven't mailed them, but what's going on here, Victor?
I have no comments on this matter because I know my comments would be very more.
Well, and just the bland general comments of any purchases made by anybody. Don't you think like 3 weeks a little bit pushing the time limit of shipping?
Absolutely.
On something that's in stock?
Yes, I agree.
But I mean, there's been answers in a lot of things, and me being the nice person I am, I always give the benefit of the doubt, and I end up either getting screwed over or whatever. But it's just like,
if it was my show, I would be more. But you're the captain of this ship, so I'm just gonna be like,
Yeah, no, I know, and there's a time and place for that, and there might be a show about that. Who knows? I mean, I'm not gonna let someone just blatantly rip me off. Not anymore. I mean, we don't really do that anymore.
It's for
but-
horror people.
I was saying I bought something, about 3 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
You'll love this story, Chad.
Yeah, I bought a Blu-ray, physical Blu-ray, and a CD, and it still hasn't arrived yet, and it still hasn't been shipped out yet. And I'm just like, okay. And originally, the person told me, they were in production filming, took a couple extra days after the filming. Then it was something else. Then it was something else. Like, and now we're getting into the 3-week territory. I just want, I paid the money to ship it. I mean, well, I gave all the benefit of the doubt, so I did it PayPal, friends and family, very nicely. So there's nothing I can do for recourse except just hope in good faith or hound the person. No, they haven't ghosted me or blocked me or anything, and they answer me when I ask them about it, and they have answers. But it's just like I get a little nervous. I'm not talking about $5, $10. I'm like $50-something here.
Yeah, I mean, I've had trouble with stuff that I've bought recently. That shirt that I bought for the Return of the Living Dead con, never got it.
Yeah, that was crazy. I remember that.
And then I just recently bought the collector's 4K of Night of the Demons, and that shipped out from Minnesota, ended up in Georgia, then went to New Jersey,
What is it?
then got to me in Maine, and then it went out to Oregon. That thing has more mileage on its passport than I do.
How the fuck did it end up in Georgia?
I don't know. But why did it go from my distribution center in Maine out to Oregon?
Yeah.
But I've sometimes bought things and then watched them get in an infinite loop where they'll go from here to California to here to California. And I'm just like, okay, this ain't happening. The company will send something out. And then like 2 months later, the shit will show up because eventually the loop ends. And it's all because the way they can't read the slip or the slip gets misread. So someone's got to physically find the package, fix the label to go to the right shipping location, and then just have it go off. And sometimes just the labels get like damaged along the way, and they'll just, it's going to this location. And it just keeps going. Because a lot of it is computer done.
And actually, I finally did get it, and it was the one that that guy Chris from the Spooky Picture Show put together.
Oh yeah.
And I also got the Trick or Treat.
Trick or, I gotta remember, Trick or not R.
Yep. Both great, but two very different movies.
Yeah, I was kind of bummed that Quinn Lord there couldn't miss his flight coming in due to the government shutdown, so we didn't get no Sam at Scranton, Pennsylvania. I was looking forward to that. I do like Sam.
Yeah, that's too bad.
But I'm sure he'll be around next year looking at what's going on and the people that have been announced. So far though, I have to say Maine has announced the most people. Bill Mosley, you got some Winnie the Pooh people.
Can we send curse out to the people if they don't send you the stuff after you paid them?
What happened?
We can send a curse out.
We could.
Okay.
Could do whatever we want to do. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what kind of curse you're gonna get. Like last year, the main con, they had Annabelle.
Oh yeah, I remember. I was supposed to go to that. I said we got stuck in a damn tornado the day before, and I couldn't get out there the next day. Yep. Me and Mikey were literally escaping Worcester for our lives as this tornado was ripping through the area because I didn't want to be locked down.
You got hit around here. We're about 2 hours away.
Yeah.
Jesus, nothing. It got a little cloudy outside, but nothing.
And all of a sudden, we were there, and they were sheltering in place. I'm like, we stay here. We're never getting home. Plus, I was thinking I don't want to walk outside with all my shit to get wet in a storm. So I'm like, let's go get my stuff in the car. I'm like, you leave, you gotta go. We're not having people come back in. I'm like, okay, we're out. Bye. And we just made it. And as soon as we hit the highway, the storm rain, everything just came flooding in, and we were just. I knew that we were going away from the storm, so that's why I was like, let's just go. But if we were going in, I would have made us stay. But it was fucked up. And then the next day was still just shitty weather. I couldn't take the trip up to Maine, and I was just like,
Did it make you feel like you're in Fortnite? Just running away from the storm?
kind of, now that I think about it. Because I was just like, go, turn right, turn right, turn right. You see it coming this way? Because at one point, I swear we could see a funnel. So I'm like, go. Like, you don't want to get caught in the funnel. This kid's talking about the movie Twister. If you all know Mike, sometimes he just says the most stupidest shit at the wrong time. It's like, yeah, these twisters can just turn out of nowhere like the movie and just fucking zigzag at any given time.
Okay,
And I'm just like, okay, I just want to get home. We're in a little itty bitty car here.
So for people that maybe listen to this, to know Mike is to love him. But yeah, he does say some of the most off the wall shit.
At the wrong times. I'm just like, I'm trying to get home.
Oh, his timing is impeccable.
And he doesn't even know. And it's like, God damn it. And you know, and we're going. And then finally, we luckily made it home. It's like, we were in a twister. We were in a tornado. All night long, I heard we were in a tornado. But we did make it. But I did end up missing the Gua. Gua was doing a panel and some other shit. But I guess everybody got moved to the basement.
Fair.
And I guess it was just kind of fun and games because all the actors and actresses were down there doing horror shit and making fucking spooky shit go on because it was all dark and stuff. And you had all the horror fans just down there, and everyone's just trying to do the best they can because everybody spends a lot of money. But
you should have stayed and vlogged.
No, they weren't allowing fucking cameras at that show. I kept getting told to shut the camera off, so I was like already in a pissy mood about the footage. You couldn't film anywhere near the guests, and I couldn't film in the panel room. So either which way, it's like, fuck this.
Fucking bastards.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, like everywhere else I've been able to at least film like the guests. Like I'm not filming everything, but at least when I go up to do something or something, and then I can film like the room or film some of the panel questions.
Well, like Misty was saying, natural disaster movies make the best movies.
What movie? Slashes?
Like natural disasters.
Oh, absolutely.
They can. I don't know.
But
they're easy to avoid. Just don't live somewhere that you have hurricanes. Or don't move somewhere that has tornadoes.
Well, this fucking country, it's like pick your poison. You have snow, you have tornadoes, you got earthquakes, you got hurricanes. It's like you're fucked. You might as well just go fuck your horse and just fuck you this place with that.
Well, that's why you live in the middle of nowhere that's not near the water. But also has mountains, so a tornado can't go running through it.
Dude, we got fucking paranormal. We have the eighth dimension of hell here. So I was like, oh fuck.
You got witches.
Got fucking witch stories, you know.
People from the 1600s cursed your land, and then you wonder why you have a bad day. The literal land you walk on is cursed.
You know, Weatherhead Hollow Road is where my aunt lives.
Oh, Jesus.
Hey, you know I'm about to. I told you about my aunt, didn't I, Fasashi?
Yeah.
Like she had an eating disorder. She tried to starve her. She's like 75 now. This all happened this year. You thought my year was shitty. So of course they put her into like this nursing home, this rehab called Pine Heights. Comes home a couple weeks later. Then she accidentally set herself on fire. She like reached over a candle, the sleeve was there, whoosh, you know. So that got her back to Pine Heights. Then she was just like trying to get in her car, and because of the damage she's done in her body, she had that brittle bone disease, and her femur snaps. So
Sounds like that. Sounds like what happened to that Linda Logan lady in that movie. Like she was just being possessed to the point that it looked like dementia or something else, but it was really just a demon attack. That is a shitty ass year, though. All that in 1 year is like,
Yeah,
goddamn.
definitely.
But
Yeah.
then you say where she lives, and I'm like, well, no wonder why. I mean,
it's just like here you go. This now it's like, oh, whoops.
oh well, yeah. I mean, you
We just
live
got
in a
this old, we
place.
just got this old lady walking up and down Bonneville. That's all we got.
Well, have you seen her personally?
The old lady, no.
No. But have you been looking? Now you know all this. It's
I
like,
just found this out today.
that's what I'm saying. So now you want to go looking. And
I
that's
kind
what
of
I'm
want to
saying.
go
Like,
looking.
we're going looking.
Oh, we're going looking. There's a lot of free areas.
There's
It's
a lot of things to look at.
Definitely.
I've done some research in the latter days of Vermont, and
I was told to win them in because they forget about the 4 columns. Win them in.
like stay at the hotel and just
They like that place is haunted. I mean, that's what I was told. It's like forget about that one room in 4 columns in. Win them in, hands down.
when they're still open for business.
Oh yeah,
Sounds like a plan.
fucking check out both.
I want to compare the ghosts, the quality.
But do they have zombies?
Downtown Brattleboro.
Yeah, that's zombie.
They have signs that feel like they got this. That's another fucking story, right there, about white vans are just dropping people off, and they're just like pretending they're homeless. I mean, that's another story that, and of course, you know what? Everyone's just like, about it. I mean, I've seen people jump out of a white van before, so it's just like.
Let me ask you something. During the day, Vic, do you jump out of white vans and play homeless and collect money?
I go inside white vans because they have candy.
See, it's not a bad gig. I bet they are coming from they're probably coming from the rich part of North Vermont, coming down in their van, hopping out, playing up the poor person folk, panhandling all day, and then going skiing up north.
Now, Vic, the only correct answer to Versace's question is yes.
Yes. Yes.
At least you don't have to work a 9 to 5. It beats the 9 to 5. Plus, you get free health insurance if you play homeless.
To a point. They want to see you actually like really like, okay, if you need help, why do you need free home life insurance?
You gotta just make sure that you gotta go further enough that nobody knows you. Obviously, you can't play homeless in the hometown. You're gonna see your neighbor. They're gonna be like, "What the fuck you doing, Vic? Go home." You can't do that. You gotta go. That's why you go in the white van. It brings you miles away, distance.
I'm gonna buy a white van. Maybe they'll get some people working for me. Hey, go in this. Hold this recorder. Go in this hotel room. It's called Room Blood. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just make sure they can't.
Here comes a white van. Next, he's gonna get black balloons, and pretty soon he's gonna be the new grabber.
Oh, I like the red balloons.
Now the black ones were actually creepy. I'll be honest with you. In Black Phone, the black balloons gave a very scary kind of presence.
Yeah, it was definitely a very. You kind of had when you see those black balloons, it's kind of like a visceral gut reaction to it.
Yeah,
it's something.
It's
It's almost like it hits you on some subconscious level.
Yeah, there was something I read about the symbolism of the black balloons and just didn't want to go with the red. Well, red's traditionally now been just kind of Pennywised out. You can't see a red balloon without thinking Pennywise.
Right.
But this other colored balloon, but they wanted the black because there's something about it. They did say that it eats your subconscious.
Yeah, and it's just ominous.
Well, that's the other thing. And the movie was ominous because there was kids involved. It wasn't about adults being shot or killed. It was young kids being abducted, pulled off the streets in broad daylight by someone that just didn't care. And this is a story that can hit home because it happens every day. You know, it was scarier then because, well, I mean, it felt scary at that time because the time references, you know, of the 70s, 80s, you didn't have all the surveillance everywhere. Okay, you didn't have people with cell phones walking the streets. Average person didn't carry a camera with them when they were walking home. So people could do something and you would have to, you know, you would have to rely on eyewitnesses. And eyewitnesses are eyewitnesses. Not everybody sees the same thing. Some people see something foggy, somebody didn't see it correctly. The chances of you getting away with the crime or a crime being gotten away with back in the day was much more higher than today because also they didn't have the DNA. So you couldn't go and be tracing and getting all this. You had to work off fingerprints and eyewitnesses. Now you fast forward it, these things still happen. Crazy, scary, sad things. But you do got a lot of surveillance. And if it's not people eyewitnesses, you got cams everywhere on people's houses, doorbells, lampposts. They can find you and they'll hunt you down and find where you've been, where you were 2 days ago and 2 days later. They'll follow you through social media. Back in the 70s, 80s, you didn't have these paper trails for anything. Somebody kidnapped somebody. If they didn't leave a note like the Zodiac killer, we don't know who did it.
Right.
You know, for me, that was more scarier. That gives me a more scarier feeling. So I love that they take these movies, even if they're made today, and bring it to a time when modern amenities did not exist. You know, if you think about it today, Return of the Living Dead, you want to talk about that? Even Night of the Living Dead. Night of the Living Dead broke out today in today's society.
Would we even know the difference?
Well, yeah, people would have been filming this shit. Other people would have been pulling out automatic weapons. It would have been crazy. It would have been a free for all.
Or Walmart on a Sunday.
Where did he go? We're just live. We're live, pal. You see, he pulled the shit on me once before, and I was like, okay, I guess I should end it. And he said, why did you end it? It's like, because I didn't fucking know what's going on.
So, Vic, let me ask you a question. What's your least favorite zombie movie?
I don't like horror movies that involves kids. Having two of my own, that kind of hits home with horror.
Big Bag, what did you do?
Yeah, that's fair.
You goddamn Big Bag. Why did you order 4 pies? Son of a bitch.
Oh, his food's here.
Oh, I'm ready for the week.
No, I thought.
It's hard to say. I can't think of like a horror movie that.
Buy one, get one.
Yeah.
We bought 2.
No, I thought Walking Dead was.
But if
Holy
they messed up, I
You'll
don't think
leave
I
no
bought
that
2.
yet.
It says 2 cheese pizza medium, 1
Walking
plus 1
Dead.
promo.
Yeah.
The,
You got one,
the-
get one, got
the
one,
words,
get one.
You know, the
Yeah,
phrase,
I know.
look at the flowers, has
So have you
haunted
got
me for
food?
years. If you know, you know.
Yeah, that's true. Mr. Stoner, we're live, pal. Worldwide. I had to mute you, Mike, because you were not you were over talking this conversation. I just say I just mute you, Mike, and you start talking. He was asking me a very important question, and can I hear my expert opinion on? Yeah, I just unmuted it for you.
You haven't eaten in fucking 10 days.
You guys aren't gonna have sex live, are you?
And I unmuted me again.
Yeah, I did.
I was gonna sit here and listen to your question and answer.
It was already a question and answered.
What are you guys talking about?
But our least favorite horror movie, zombie movie.
What is it?
Couldn't think of one, but I could say one thing. The Walking Dead got very like.
Yeah,
I thought that with the zombie boom, Walking Dead, because they milked it for so long, kind of ended it.
I put it this way: I recognize Walking Dead for what it did culturally, and kind of brought the zombies to a newer generation because they weren't getting hooked on Return of the Living Dead. They weren't watching these 80s flicks. They wanted something more up-paced, visceral, in your face. Campiness, the comedy, they weren't really into it. But it probably is my least favorite because I think, again, they made it more about the characters and their intertwinings and their children and all of this than they did about the actual zombies.
Jeez, 11 seasons. 11. That's a little bit.
Some of the seasons were great. Some of the shows were great. You had you did have your lighter episodes, but for the most part, a lot of it was just really, really bleak.
Well, like post-apocalyptic. It got out of the zombie genre for a while and went into post-apocalyptic, like almost like
right,
like an open world game. Like we're gonna go travel down here. It's like it's playing like what was that one where the world gets nuked and you just travel from land to land. You're meeting these cannibals. You're meeting these people.
Right. Yeah.
Yes, there's zombies out there, but your story isn't now necessarily about zombies. You're intertwining with all these other characters and real cults and this and that. It's like we could have cut all the fat up and made this a very nice zombie movie or series or trilogy even.
And they kind of did what they did in the comics a bit, where a lot of times, like I said earlier, the biggest threat wasn't necessarily the zombie or the supernatural. It was the other people.
Well, that was the thing. A lot of them are turning on each other.
Yeah.
And that's always a problem, when somebody gets bit. Do we kill them? Do we not kill them? Do we kill them? Do we not kill them?
You fucking kill the fucker.
You should.
Double tap.
Smart.
Double tap. Sorry.
And then nobody wants to shoot the kid that turns into a zombie.
Give me the gun. I can't kill him. Boom. There you go. You want a replay? Boom. Clean up the damn body.
It's true. That's how 90% of the people die in these horror movies. They don't take the shit serious. It's like a vampire film. You see the thing turn and shoot it. Werewolf, turn and shoot it. Don't let this thing become another creature.
Yeah.
From Dusk Till Dawn, when Tom
Savini
got bit by the vampire and he started turning, he was trying to hide the fact that he was turning the entire time.
Yeah.
Well, Tom's a master makeup artist. He was able to hide that well.
Oh, yeah.
But, that's the thing.
I mean, they try to put in cages. They try to lock them in rooms, whatever. When you show mercy.
Well, that was the interesting. The one that I watched about the story that was on the movie Masters of Horror. It actually starred Robert Englund. He owned this. It was in the future. He owned this almost like club. And what they did was they would have zombies come. And they would shoot them with this medication. It wasn't even. They would take these dead bodies. They would shoot them with this medication. They would come alive, and then they would shock them. And they would kind of dance. And they were in this kind of post-apocalyptic world where people would go and entertain and love this shit. He ran this shitty club. People go in there and snort drugs, whatever, and fucking watch these people dance and, get their jollies and whatever. And this, guy and girl bring, this other girl and guy down to there to check it out. And when the girl's sitting there, she sees one of the girls come out doing the dance and she recognizes this girl. It's her missing sister. She's been missing for like 3 years or something. She was into drugs and she went missing. And it turns into this whole thing, and then she ends up bringing the mother down there to show her. And Robin England plays a great character as this like host. He's all like, he might even play a gay character in this because he's got some guys on him, girls on him. He's like into everything, and he's just talking to the mother. He's talking really sleazebag style. He's like, "Oh, Martha, haven't like whatever," and he's like, "Oh, you didn't tell her." And she looks at her mother and is like, "Tell me what?" And he's like, "Your mother sold your sister." And you see the mother like crying, whatever. And then it goes to show the story. The sister was bad into drugs. Rehab wasn't working. She was going to overdose anyway. So the mother sold it to this dude for like whatever monetary gain. And so the daughter was pissed. So the daughter actually like, I don't know, she's ready to kill the guy. And then she's like, it's not his fault, whatever. And they end up killing the mom and putting the mother in, making her dance. And then it ends. Like I said, they were like an hour films. Each director got to write a movie. And but it was done in a very way that it felt like it wasn't comedy horror at all. It was definitely a good like it should have been what Rave to the Grave was. Like that to me was Rave to the Grave. Like somebody like and something like that, doing all these like partying shit. In a society that enjoyed watching corpses dance or thought it was amusement to bring people back for their pleasure of amusement, enjoyment. They couldn't talk, they couldn't do anything. They were just literally just drooling and freaking being shocked and moved around by the shock. But then it brought in also like the human rights aspect. Would these people have rights?
Oh god,
because they're still technically human. But then, like, there's another short film. I don't know what it was from, but it might have been even a Creep Show episode on the newer one or Tales from the Crypt something. And it has somebody talking and going, it was like a Republican guy, and he was talking about trying to gain votes and trying to gain support. And they were like, I wish every man and wife and child that served this country could vote. Because their voices should be heard or whatever. And this thing gets echoed, and all the soldiers that like died in wars rise and go and vote, and they end up voting against this guy, and it ends up turning to civil war, and it's just wild. But it was another kind of take on zombies and the zombie apocalypse too.
That actually sounds really interesting.
Yeah, what was I want to say it was on. It might have been on that Tubi show that I was watching.
Okay.
That has like it's one season only. I'm gonna forget the name of it, but I know that it. Like I said, the intro song is Serge Tankian's song. But it let me try to think of it really quick. I know it'll come to me probably when I'm least expected, but it's under like anthologies or series on Tubi for horror.
Now, one movie that we have failed to mention, and there's no way that I can let us sign off without at least giving it a proper mention. This movie has everything that you want. It has aliens, it has zombies, it has serial killers, and it has Tom Atkins with a shotgun. Night of the Creeps.
Oh, that you consider that a zombie flick, though?
Yeah,
I would.
You do.
I would.
Yeah.
You wouldn't, because wouldn't you consider that more like an alien infestation? Parasites.
All of the above.
I mean, it's a great film. I love that film. It's one of my
Yeah.
favorite films. But then again, I mean, what's that movie that Peter Jackson made? That you can almost consider that a zombie film, but it's really aliens.
Right. Yes. But like you do have, the scene with the frat boys after the bus accident, all coming alive, coming back from the dead, and
See, they didn't put Peter Atkins in many. They didn't put Tom Atkins in many horror films because, I mean, in many zombie films, I think he could have taken down a whole squad with just a shotgun.
Yeah.
I think he could have. If it was him that was in the house boarded up, I think the zombie apocalypse and Night of the Living Dead would have been over.
It would have ended that night.
That night, it would have ended.
Yeah.
There would have just been zombies everywhere. He is the Chuck Norris of whatever it is. He can do
Yep.
it.
He would have his cigar and some crazy one-liner and a shotgun, and it would be done.
He would have told the lady to thrill him at the end. He would have literally. He would have been like, Barbara, thrill me. And that would have ended the movie. That would have been it.
Absolutely.
I wish he. I mean, we saw him. He is kind of old, but I wish he could do more. I wish he was a great actor. Like the stuff that he did in his films, in his movies that he made, like some of the most memorable moments in movies are with him.
Oh, absolutely.
And he was just made for that role. Just him in a shotgun like this. It's not. I loved listening to him and speak though about Halloween 3 and his running scene and all of that. Like very interesting stuff.
Absolutely.
Very, very interesting. What's wrong, Vic? It looks like you've seen a ghost.
Nah, I'm tired.
He's in Vermont. He might have.
I might be being sad. I'm old. That's right.
Well, as long as it's a possession and not a repossession, you don't want nothing repoed. They come and take your car. That's bad.
Some countries they take your wife.
They could. In Vermont, anything's up for grabs.
Let's be honest. Some people might not consider that a bad thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't consider it a bad thing.
It all depends on the wife.
It depends on who's taking, too.
Yeah.
Anybody, please.
See, I dodged that bullet, so.
Well, yeah, you bury your wives before you get married. That's the way you've avoided it. You've got to use the same ring over and over again, too. It's smart. It's like Evil Dead. He gave the same freaking necklace to both girls.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
Nobody even realizes that. Like that movie was kind of like what they did in Return of the Living Dead in a way. Like he literally goes back to the same college with a different girl and proposes and thinks something different's gonna happen. Like why?
People are stupid.
But he did give her the same necklace. Yeah. Saving on the money. Well, we're almost out of tonight. I hope everybody has enjoyed tonight's episode of Horror Nights. We'll be back next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Talking all the horror. Talking all the spooky shit. Creepy movies. Weird shit. Frisco horror. Maybe we'll get into fucking French horror. Like martyrs and stuff. There's a lot of, extremity horror that the French have put out over the years that I think goes under the radar. Movies like Frontiers, movies like Martyrs, Anatomy of Hell. There's a whole bunch of them. We'll get into that. I can show you guys where to find some if you haven't seen them and where to watch them. But thank you everybody for tuning in tonight. It has been a pleasure. Stay spooky, everyone. We're out.
Good night.
Like and subscribe.